Hello, wonderful people out there. I do hope this message finds you well. This is a general collective reading, so please take only what resonates, leave the rest, only you will know if this message is for you. Also, this is a timeless reading, so if this message is just finding you now, there may be a message for you at this time. We're going to jump in and do a quick intuitive message for you, beautiful souls, wherever you are. And I do thank you for the gift of your time here. I do love and appreciate the comments and the likes. Ooh, shit. No way. Wow. So, interesting. Okay. I'm actually going to take this because it's an interesting read. Okay. So, as I was shuffling, this one card flew into my dog's water bowl. And when I looked at what card it was, I'm just drawing it off really quick. But it feels like someone is heavy in their emotions, experiencing some sort of difficulties. Maybe you're working through your shadow side right now. Maybe you're really taking a look, or have been, in this new moon energy. I know that we're coming upon a full moon shortly. So maybe you've been using this time in between this new moon and this full moon energy to really take a look at that shadow self. And this could make you quite emotional. You know, the water to me is emotions, and it was like drowning in your emotions. And whatever difficulties that you're facing right now, you're really taking a hard look at this shadowy aspect of yourself. You know, I brought the book out for this reading because I actually really do love their book here. It's very short and sweet. But before I get into that, and this is the Journey Oracle. It's one of my new favorite decks. You know, I'd gotten the intuitive download not too long ago, and I didn't know if it would play into this, but it was talking about, and part of these difficulties, right, because here this person's alone, and this is giving me that kind of lone wolf energy. Now, masculine or feminine, it does not matter. You could be a feminine addressing masculine energies within you. You could be a masculine yourself. This is just the shadow aspect of, regardless of gender, you know, maybe working through a lot of those masculine dominant traits that can reside, again, within either gender. It is just an energy. It's kind of what I'm picking up on here. And doing a lot of that healing. Yeah, blue. Difficulties. It's just like maybe not drowning in your emotions, but feeling very emotional, I would say. And blue. And wandering, right? That shadowy aspect of just like taking this time, or you're being asked to take this time, or have been in this phase. Because nighttime's a phase. It's just one part of, you know, there's the daylight phase, and then there's the twilight, and then there's, you know, dusk, and then there's sunset, and then there's night, and then there's, oh, I'm sorry, dusk is in the twilight, before twilight, and then there's twilight, and then I think there's dawn. There's many phases within, you know, this earthly cycle. You know, there's the moon, and then there's the sun, and then there's phases even within the moon, and phases, well, I don't know, the sun, besides eclipses, kind of shines. But the clouds, right? The clouds can even mask that. So it's like, it feels like the sun can even go through its own phases of wanting to be seen and unseen. And the night is not wanting to be seen, for sure. Especially in the new moon. That new moon energy really is dark. I love the new moon because you see more stars. The full moon is beautiful in so many ways. It light your path. It really illuminates many things. But the new moon has its own beauty and wonder, but it's also allows more of the darkness in, right? You're allowed to see more of the inner workings of the universe, right? You see more stars if you're in a place with less light pollution. So whatever this is that you're experiencing at this time, you're definitely diving in deep with that kind of like asking the big questions in whatever way that is, right? It's kind of swimming, right, as it fell into the water, swimming through these phases that will often conjure emotion. Sometimes it feels like you're floating just on the surface. And I'm sending you an immense amount of love, because here's the thing, just around the corner is daylight. And shortly from now, there'll be a full moon. The clouds will part. The skies will be clear. And the stars were always there. And the moon was always in its entirety. But these are all phases that we only see from one perspective. So you may be only seeing things from one perspective. 626. You know, I talked about this image of this person being kind of like a lone wolf, because there's only one person here. And the download that I had gotten recently was really talking about being a leader. Not a follower, but a leader. And to be alone and walking a path at night, let me tell you, I've done it. I lived on the road for a while, and I went camping alone a lot. Without the dog, without the kid, just me and the dark. And it's different, that's for sure. You learn to appreciate the moon in its many cycles. You appreciate the stars, you appreciate the full moon. You just appreciate not feeling alone. But I decided to be my own leader. I didn't need to want to follow anyone else out into the woods. I wanted to be the leader. I wanted to be the one to take the initiative, to be a leader. I was going to lead myself. Now, the joke is that I never really feel alone, because I do feel that I'm blessed to be surrounded by a beautiful spirit team that always knows when to reveal itself in my true times of darkness. And maybe there's a message in that for you. I did have to learn how to call upon them, and that I was not a burden, and that was part of why they were here, was to assist me in exactly those times. I didn't call on them unnecessarily, but when I truly did need them, they were always there for me. So don't forget that, whoever you are. But going back to being a leader, right? Leading by example. So this means obviously you're not a follower, you are a leader, whoever you are. And sometimes that means that you will be willing, or you will have to be willing, to be made the example. To lead by example means that sometimes you will have to be willing to be, quote unquote, the example. Your difficulties, to share those difficulties. So anything that you're experiencing now will be somehow, will be a lesson for not only you, but maybe another. There's so much profound healing in that opportunity to pay forward that truth. That is what sets you apart and makes you a leader. Your ability to stand in the dark, to keep your head above water, to tread water, to tread your own emotions, to stand alone in the darkest of the night, to address your shadow, to share these truths, to pay forward these lessons. And as you do so, don't forget to remind yourself, as I was thinking about this idea, right, of leading by example, of, we give advice. Once you've learned these lessons, you're happy to share them as a leader. You think, oh, if I can just... Now, you can't, as a leader, you know that you can't make anyone follow said advice, but you can share it and people can take it or leave it and no skin off your back. It is just an opportunity to continue to grow, to share this truth, and to keep it moving. It's not your job to have anyone, no one will have to take your advice. Take it or leave it. It's just unsolicited. It's not going to change your reality. Just as if someone told you this is what you should do, if you weren't ready to do it, you may not be doing it right now. No one can make you do anything, nor can you make anybody do anything. And as a leader, you know that to be true. You would never. Everyone has free will. You have free will. You've had free will this whole time. And anyone that is willing to listen to a lesson knows that the free will is in the opportunity to take that advice or to understand that each and every consequence has an action and a reaction. For many years, I decided to hit my head against the wall and not listen to advice and be stubborn and to do things the hard way. And then one day I realized that my father in particular was quite wise and was always willing to share information with me. And I always decided that he did not know in my younger years what he was talking about. He was crazy. He was out there. He was a hippie that just had these wild ideas and thoughts and that I was going to show him. And turns out I can't really think of a time where I can say I was right. He was always right. I just decided that I was going to have to learn, and that was my journey, and I don't regret a single bit of it. I appreciated the opportunity to learn that lesson on my own. I needed to. That was my journey, not his. But I often think back about what would have happened had I listened, and it didn't matter. It's just the fact that shortly, and it wasn't long after he was gone, that advice was no longer available to me, that I started to realize I don't have to do things the hard way. Collective, you do not have to do things the hard way. Sometimes we can work smarter and not harder. I often now catch myself cherishing any moment with an elder or even a younger person. Age is irrelevant when wisdom is in question, right? Little truth bombs, little things that people say. I mean, it's all over. It's in TV shows. It's in books. It's in bright ideas from ages all over. But definitely my elders, whom I know and respect and love, I now listen with a new set of eyes and ears. Hoping that they would take the time to drop any wisdom, because I'm here for it now. And I'm finding my own, but I'm willing to listen and see how I can make that truth my own. Maybe it's not exactly like theirs, but there is a something in it. Just like there's something in whatever it is that you're going through right now that will be a building block, a foundation for another behind you. So whatever it is that you're experiencing right now, do it for you. Do it for you, because if it's worth doing, it will be difficult. If it means something, you stick with it. addressing your shadows, addressing your truths, accepting the phases, all of the things that you are currently experiencing right now are happening for you and not to you. And soon, dawn will be upon you. A new day, a new opportunity, a new version of you is just around the corner. Time is an illusion. It's just around the corner. And I don't know what that means for you, but you do. And you'll know when you start to see the light. The sky changes. Your point of view looks completely different from where you're standing right now. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this reading up. 1555. All right, releasing any struggles, strifes. I will read this from the guidebook because I do find that there are some little gems. It's quite short, and I do love their writings in it. So difficulties. Not everything happens effortlessly, and that's okay. There's a difference between the universe telling us something isn't right and the universe preparing us for bigger things to come. Difficulties transform and expand us so that we can receive the universe's gifts. It's normal to go through periods of self-doubt, difficulties in relationships, hitting walls at work, or feeling like we're just keeping our head above water. No shit. It's so funny this card fell into the bowl. I was just sitting on the top of the water too. Okay, back to this. Those seasons won't last forever. So try to find the lessons you can while they're there. You may need them down the road. Opportunities to find deeper powers within ourselves come when life seems most challenging. By Joseph Campbell. Whatever it is that you are facing right now, down the road, whatever feels like it couldn't possibly feel any more difficult in this very moment will be something that you look back upon with new difficulties ahead of you. And this very moment that you are in right now will be one of those stepping stones. Will be a stepping stone. To how you deal with your adversities and your challenges. For difficulties in the future. Just know you will face many difficulties in this life. This will be one, and has been one of many, and will be one of many more to come. You, whoever you are, keep being the leader that you have been, that you currently are, that you will be in the future. Lead by example. Be willing to be the example. And as a leader, Be humble enough and willing to take the advice you so lovingly give others. Sometimes the answers we seek, no, oftentimes the answers we seek are already within us. So, what would you tell your friend with whatever difficulties that you're facing right now? What advice would you give a loved one, a cherished loved one, for right now, for what you are dealing with? How can you see this from a different perspective? What advice would you give yourself if you were a loved one going through this moment right now in your life? How are you going to take this opportunity, this difficulty, and make it the floor that you're standing upon as a building block to the foundation of what it is that you are building for yourself? One of many pieces in this foundation that you are creating in your current reality. 21. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap this reading up. I do thank you again for the gift of your beautiful time, for your comments, for your likes. I do hope this message finds whoever needs it at just the right time. It is such a beautiful feeling to tap into this personally, this collective of healing, wonderful individuals willing to do the work, willing to face their difficulties, and it is just an honor and a privilege. So thank you. I do hope you are well, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.